going to continue our discussion on graphing quadratics. You need to know A, B, and C. You need to know the vertex, the x-intercepts, and you need to be able to graph it. So let's take a look. Well, the A, and what you need to know is the A is the number in front of the x squared, so that's a 1. The B is in front of the x. Now, don't confuse the x squared and the x. They're not the same thing. So if there is not an x, then you put 0. But in this case, we have negative 12. And C is always the number. Okay? So we're going to say x equals negative b over 2a. So negative b, but b is already a negative, so that's going to be a double negative over 2 times a. So that gives us 12 over 2, which equals 6. And that's a positive because you have 2 negatives. Okay? So we're going to put a 6 here. And that's not really the entire vertex. Now you've got to plug it in. And that's called evaluate. So we're going to plug it in. So we're going to say 6 squared minus 12 times 6 plus 40. Now you're going to need your calculator, so get them out. This is 36 minus, I think that's 72. You can check it on your calculator, plus 40. You add this up, you get 76, I believe, minus 72. It looks like you have a 4 there. So the vertex on your graph is over 6, up 4, and that's your vertex. Okay? Since A is positive, this one's going to go up. Now we don't know exactly how wide it is, so we're going to find the x-intercepts. And actually this one probably will have no x-intercepts because it's going up and the vertex is up here. But let's try it. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay? So this is going to be positive 12 plus or minus the square root. This is going to be 144. You have 2 negatives, so that's a plus. This is 1 negative. 4 times 4 is 16, so that's 160. You can't take the square root of a negative number here because you're going to end up with a negative. So there's no x-intercepts. So your graph looks like this. Now you might say, well, how do you know how wide it is? Well, then you can use a table. You can put your vertex in the middle, and then you can back off, just like I tried to teach you before, and go bigger, 7 and 8. And then plug each one of these numbers in. Remember, the outer should be the same. All right, but for the time being, I'm going to leave it like this. No x-intercepts. All right, today you have a worksheet, and I want to see the work. Okay, so here, I want to see the vertex, and I want to see the quadratic equation. And I want you to show the work off to the side. Okay? And if you need to squeeze it in somewhere, go ahead. And now that I'm looking at it, there's really not a whole lot of room here, so maybe we should use a separate sheet of paper. So we're going to say, number 1, name, date, and period. And you need to show the work, okay? So I want worksheet A, and then I want week 4-7. If you don't show this sheet with your worksheet, you won't get credit for your worksheet. So I'm going to put C worksheet. C work. And without that, you won't get credit, okay? So if you're sitting at home and you can't be with us, or there's not enough in the folder, or I ran out, you can always copy it from right here, okay? So there's no excuses for not getting this. Okay? You can get it from a friend if you have to, but it's on video. We're going to turn our attention now to college algebra. To do college algebra, let's take a look, see what we've got to do here. we're going to do row echelon form. Now we did this yesterday, but we're going to do it using the identity. And so I want you to put the identity matrix here. Now the book calls it a different name, but I'm just going to say the identity matrix, okay? So copy that down just like that. All right, now we're going to work it together. Remember, when we're done, this side should look like that side. Okay? Now actually, since I did that one, I can just refer to the video from yesterday. So let's try this one. Copy this one down. We're going to try to write the identity matrix, and the book says if possible. So we may not be able to do it for whatever reason, and we'll find out. So put the identity matrix, put a 1 and a 0, and a 0 and a 1. We're going to work this one fresh. So here we go. Okay? The 1's good. We want to make this one a 0. So we're going to multiply this one by -2 and add it to that one. So the first row stays the same. So we're going to rewrite it. But this one's going to change. So -2 times 1 is -2 plus 2 is 0. So I want a 0 there. -2 and -2 is 4, and 4 minus 3 is 1. Like that. -2 times 1 is -2, and -2 plus 0 is -2. -2 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay? So I have that. The only thing I need to do is make this a 0. So I'm going to use this equation and multiply by 2. And I'm going to add it to that equation. Okay, so here we go. So the bottom one is going to stay the same. So we're going to rewrite the bottom. Okay, now -2 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 1 is 1. -2 times 1 is -2. I'm sorry, +2, and then a -2 makes 0. There we go, we got our identity. 2 times -2 is -4. -4 and 1 is -3. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 plus 0 is 2, and we're done. And this is your inverse matrix right there. And that's what you're doing today. Today you have this work right here. If you get stuck, ask for help. Have a good morning.